Each wave of settlers snipped and clipped the magnificent trees, floating them downriver in booms to bring to life a thriving era of shipbuilding at wharves and landings strung along the length of the river. For 100 years or more, the ring of hammers played tattoo over birdsong. Boats slipped from wharves like sleek sailfish, crowding the river and running out with the tide. The magnificent oak and maple of Bear River sailed the world. Local merchants built their own ships and sent them as far away as China to fill the shelves of their stores. The major heartbeat of the village died when the last wooden ship was built. Gradually, wharves positioned along the banks of the river rotted and slumped, leaving their skeletal remains. Fallen pilings were lodged against the shore by the daily tides, and over the years were bleached white like stacked ghosts, pale reminders of Bear River's world-renowned sailing sloops. There were many elderly people in the village who had savored the tail end of the good old days, and when memories revived, they eagerly launched into the telling when Dad met them along the way. The large and lovely old homes proved that the good old days had been very good. Dad liked to discuss the history of the village and made us feel a special pride in it, and I did. I didn't ever like the farm, the dirt and manure piles, the barns and outhouses, but living in the heart of the village in one of those stately homes with no other disturbance than the Sunday church bells seemed like the most wonderful of dreams. The beauty of the village was emphasized when I made my first trip to Digby to see my first circus, and beheld the strange sight of miles of racks of codfish drying in the sun and scenting the air. Digby held no charm. For many years, until I was 11 and went to Halifax, the village of Bear River was an orderly, contemplative, still life. In the village proper, the banks on either side had been extended and plumped up with boulders, in order to provide a platform for the half-dozen or so stores, whose business was in effect conducted in the middle of the river. There was scarcely room for their entrances to cling to the sidewalks, and their back doors swung open to the river. The buildings sat perched on pilings anchored in the mud flats, and the twice-daily rise of the tides lapped at their undersides. It didn't matter that the facades of the village stores lacked artistry, even by modest standards, and were makeshift on their pinions anchored in the riverbed. There were no Roman numerals on cornerstones to lend a patina of glorious age, dignity, and history. They were not necessary to make a declarative statement. A century and a half has passed, and they still stand, clinging to the sidewalk the same as ever, and not a single building has collapsed into the river, and that is a wonder.